I'm Kristen, and I am a project manager for a nonprofit.
And I'm Dr Colsen. I'm a family physician. I came to Boise, Idaho for training. I was really drawn not only to the area, but the fact that this training program trained family doctors to provide kind of the full spectrum of care. So not just clinical work, but also inpatient and OB care, and I continue to do those things.
We have made wonderful friends. They're basically family. We don't have any other family here, and we waited until he got through his residency program before we considered starting a family. And so we started and tried for about a year and unsuccessfully, and then sought fertility treatments. We worked with a fertility doctor for about 5 years total. It was a really long journey for us. Did egg retrievals, did IUI, pretty much, we sought every possible opportunity for us to start a family.
We did have conversations early on, if there were certain kind of risks to Kristen or, other kind of health reasons that we wanted abortion to be able to be on the table, but it was kind of one of those things where I think it was like, we'll cross that bridge if and when we come to it, rather than like a daily kind of looming fear that we had.
I was nervous as well. Throughout the process, I have unexplained infertility, so we don't really have any clear answers of treatment that would work for me. And so I was experiencing recurrent pregnancy loss. Total throughout our journey, I had 5 miscarriages. And so, as the laws progressed, there was a lot of questions of like, I don't know if I can carry babies to term. What does that look for me if I get past a certain point? And, we talked about it a lot, and we wanted so badly for it to work. And the laws were kind of adding an extra layer to everything that we were going through already. This particular pregnancy, I went in for a 7-week ultrasound. We learned during that visit on ultrasound that I had what's called an anembryonic pregnancy, which means that the embryo implanted, but it didn't actually grow. Because this was my 5th miscarriage that I was having, I was very familiar with the different options that I had available to me, and had a conversation with my provider about which route I wanted to go, and based on my previous medical history and things that I had experienced with some of the other options, I chose the medication management for this one. So the prescription got sent to my pharmacy, and normally I receive a text letting me know that my prescription's ready within a few hours of it being sent in. Didn't receive a text. I waited until Friday the next day, and still no text in the morning. And it was a little confusing to me because I knew that this could be filled pretty quickly. When I spoke with the tech, they said, hold on one second, I need to refer you to the pharmacist. And the pharmacist got on the line, and they told me, I do not feel comfortable filling this particular prescription at this dosage because of the Idaho laws, and that you need to call your physician and have them send this prescription somewhere else. I tried to stay calm, and I just responded to the pharmacist, and I was like, this is being prescribed to me because I'm having a miscarriage. I have a non-viable pregnancy. I'm at 7 weeks, and my understanding is that this is a legal reason why this medication is prescribed. And they repeated back to me the same thing, that they did not feel comfortable filling this prescription because of the laws, and that I needed to consult with my physician to get it sent somewhere else.
Obviously, there was some frustration there on a lot of levels. One, being kind of involved with trying to figure out how to navigate this law, and then frustration from kind of like a professional responsibility level. It was coming from a place, probably for this pharmacist, of fear, not judgment. And so trying to recognize that there are probably a lot of people in that position, and trying not to place the blame on the pharmacist, but on kind of the environment that's been created because of our laws, and how can we do a better job of making sure that this doesn't happen to someone in the future.
The way that I process grief personally is I'm a planner. And so that was why I had chosen to go with the medication. It allows you to, predict a little bit more when you're going to actively miscarry, and you can go back to your normal job. It's hard as a woman to, if you were actively miscarrying, to be at your place of work. So, I was frustrated with, dealing with my own grief already from this 5th miscarriage, but also like it kind of gave me perspective of, wow, I live in a place like Boise. I have access to other pharmacies. What about other women across the state who wouldn't maybe have access to another pharmacy? And if their pharmacist chose to not fill this prescription, what would they be able to do? What options would they have? I think infertility, at least what we've experienced, is it's a club nobody wants to be a part of. But sadly, there are a lot of women that have trouble getting pregnant and that have recurrent pregnancy loss. And, throughout this time, our journey, we've had a lot of people tell us about pregnancies that they've lost that they never talked about. The experience that we've had has created a sense of community amongst our friends and our family, and we personally are more open about it. But I think across the state, with the laws and the access issues, I really hope that women feel empowered to be able to understand what the laws allow them to do and can make those decisions for themselves.
It definitely gives you a sense of empathy and compassion for what your patients are going through, right? Miscarriage is kind of just part of the normal experience. It's not that rare. It's quite common. Knowing your options and knowing that you can access those options without difficulty can make that experience something that's either painful but manageable, or incredibly painful. Trying to minimize those barriers for people, I think for me now, is paramount whenever I provide miscarriage management.